I'm going to turn things over at this time to WFLA's anchors Josh Benson and then our photographer Jamie Cook, who actually yesterday, Jamie, you guys got a chance to fly into the storm with storm teammate meteorologist Ian Oliver, and I cannot wait to hear your experience. We are also going to show you guys some video that Jamie and Ian took, and I'm very curious to know how it was. So I'm just going to toss things over to you guys, and you can get it going.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Amanda, and thanks everybody for having us. On your screens today, I know it's been a wild few weeks for a lot of people from Florida all the way up the coastline. We went through this last week and this week entirely, and now we're seeing it hit the Carolinas. So we wish everybody well who's out there, who's dealing with the tornadoes that are spinning up, dealing with this storm. It's been a long, long journey. So thanks for being here. We hope to help you out and bring you some information. But yeah, we do want to talk about a little bit about the forecast. By the way, I'm Josh Benson. I'm an anchor here at WFLA, and joining me is Jamie Cook. He's a photographer here, been here several years, been in the market for 25 years. So we're going to talk about his cool adventure aboard the Hurricane Hunter. But to be able to bring you these kinds of forecasts, the Hurricane Hunter aircraft is one of the big pieces of hardware they need in order to get accurate forecasts. The information they can pull from a situation like Hurricane Dorian is pretty incredible. Jamie, first of all, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
You had quite the night. Did you get any sleep?
Not much.
Not much.
Definitely didn't sleep on the plane, that's for sure.
So you and our meteorologist Ian Oliver, who's not here, I suspect he's probably getting some sleep, but you guys got to get on one of these P-3 Orion aircraft, right?
We flew on a Kermit last night.
It's called the Kermit.
The Kermit.
Okay, so why do they call it that?
I really don't know. They have the Kermit and the Gonzo.
Okay, so you got to go with them, and what time did you take off?
We left Lakeland about 4 p.m. yesterday afternoon. Okay. And we got back around 10:30, 11 p.m. last night.
And the whole time, what is happening aboard? What do they warn you about prior to taking off? What are they going to do?
They told us, when we get out to the storm that, we're definitely going to experience some turbulence. They said when the captain put the seatbelt light on, make sure you grab a seat and buckle up as quickly as possible. And no doubt about it, it was a bumpy ride.
Is this your video right now?
Yes, this is video from last night.
So beautiful shots, too. You saw sunsets?
Absolutely gorgeous. Where you see the sunset there, we were literally flying back out of the eye of the storm, and we were over top of the clouds, and just an absolute gorgeous sunset right over top of the storm.
Isn't that amazing too, how Mother Nature can just give you the worst and then leave you with something like that?
Gorgeous like that.
So we're going to cycle some of the video on your screen to see kind of what Jamie shot. Now this is all stuff that Jamie shot last night as they were on the aircraft. But just about this aircraft, it's equipped with 3 weather radars. It has a C-band radar in the nose of the plane and in the lower fuselage, and then an X-band radar in the tail. So this thing is like fully loaded with technology. I think there's only 2 of them in the country that they utilize for hurricanes. But did you, once you got on board, what was the layout? How did you, was it just side seats or benches?
They're side seats, and they're basically, what you see there's a station.
There we go, perfect.
That's where they were dropping, they're called drop-sons. And basically when they load those into the chute, they shoot them out the back of the plane, and they descend into the ocean. It gives them different temperature gauges, wind speeds, directions. They dropped, I think, about a total of 35 of those last night.
Okay.
And but each station does something different.
That's Ian right
there.
That's
Ian. He got to drop one last night.
Wow.
That one that
cool.
he's dropping there, actually, it falls into the ocean, and once it impacts the water, it turns on and starts sending back data. I mean, it was just amazing. Yeah.
He said it was an incredible experience. He's never been able to see that before.
Exactly. Well, that's the cockpit there, and you can see how bumpy it is. I was trying to shoot video, and we were going through the eye at that point in time, extremely bumpy. Toward, at the beginning, not so bad. I mean, it was daylight, you could see everything. But once the sun set, and there were some research scientists on board, and they wanted to get a better gauge of their data going through the eye wall. So they wanted to go through 4 different times. So in and out 1, in and out 2. I tell you what, literally, I was flying out of my seat.
Really?
I mean, I was holding on to anything I could possibly hold on to. The plane literally just shakes you to your core.
And if you're not, do you like roller coasters?
Back in the day, I used to, but not so much
But that
anymore.
was my first question. I saw you when I walked in the newsroom. I'm like, did you get sick? Like, how did it feel?
I didn't get sick, but we'll say somebody else got sick.
So it's good Ian's home today. Ian, if you're watching, get well. We're going to need you back here soon. But yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, that's just turbulence for 6, 7, 8 hours.
It was probably the worst turbulence I've ever experienced in my entire life. The plane, like I said, it rattles, it dips side to side, you drop, But when you're going through 100-some-mile-per-hour winds, there's crosswinds at different angles. So there's a lot of factors. I commend every person on that plane. I mean, they're just extremely good at what they do.
And they love what they do.
And they love what they do.
Because there is a thrill here involved, I got to imagine. Because if you're going to fly a plane, and you got to be a little bit crazy to fly a plane into the center of a hurricane.
It gave me a whole new respect for their profession. I mean, to go in a storm day in and day out, they're saving people's lives.
Right.
I mean, they're giving us advanced warnings, about what these storms are doing. And the technology is getting better and better. And that, like I said, they were experimenting last night with newer technology. So it's coming soon.
And for people who are on the Carolina coastline, in the Charleston area, you guys are seeing action right now. And this is why these Hurricane Hunter aircraft are so important, because you're getting some of the most detailed, up-to-date information that's going to warn you well in advance of what to expect. I wanted to kick out a little bit and take a look at where this storm was. I don't know if we can, Amanda, can we drop to show the path of this thing right now, just to people who are joining us? I know we have new viewers joining us all the time, but this gives you a little bit of an idea of where the storm is at and what we're seeing. There it is. Okay, so it was a Category 3. Now, Jamie, you said this thing actually went from a 2 to a 3 while you were on the plane.
While we were on the plane last night, they upgraded it to a Category 3. It
That's
picked
incredible.
up, so it's gaining speed, warmer waters. Became extremely impressive, and I'll call it angry. It just outright, that storm was angry last night is what I called it.
And you could see that from the plane, though?
You could see it from the plane. I mean, and you could feel it. Like I said, when the last part of our flight going in and out of the eye, like I said, it was just an extremely, extremely bumpy ride. And, they just told everyone, hang on,
Wow.
do the best you can do.
Now, did they give you any other warnings of what you could expect in terms of intense turbulence, or is that pretty much... Was it pretty self-explanatory?
Pretty self-explanatory to them,
But they were busy the whole time.
The whole entire time. I mean, there were calm moments. Once you were inside of the eye, it was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you could see clear as day.
Like a super nice day.
It was just a beautiful day in the middle of in the eye of that storm. You could see all the clouds down below you, the thunderstorms below you, and I managed to get some really impressive pictures.
And that's a good point to bring up about the eye of this storm. When we were covering the Bahamas down here in Florida, and we were starting to see all the video that was coming in, a lot of people in the Bahamas were going out when the eye was coming over. They were taking video of the neighborhood, and they were sending it back. I don't know how they were sending it back, but they were, because we were getting it.
Yeah.
But they didn't realize the back end of that storm was coming at them. So this is the most dangerous time to be a part of this storm. And now as we watch this storm and where it's going to make landfall, I don't essentially know exactly where that could be, but the eye will be there. Keep that in mind if you're up in that neck of the woods, if it's going to be hitting around where you live, and all of a sudden it's super calm out there. Keep in mind that could be the eye that you're sitting in, and there's a lot more coming right behind it. So you don't want to take your time, get a lot of video, and hang out outside. That's something we should all remember. All right, we'll go back to some of the video if we can of this flight, because this is fascinating stuff. I mean, here you have a plane full of people, and they're just crunching numbers, and are they sending back data as they're there, or do they have to bring it back and then?
It's almost in real time. So everything they're sending back is coming back in real time. It was really amazing.
So Ian, how did he react to all this? Because other than be giddy because he loves this kind of stuff.
I called him a kid in a candy store because
there he is.
It was his first flight as well, so he was super excited.
Was this your first one?
It's my first one as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was supposed to fly last week, but something happened with the plane, and they had to do some maintenance, so we were unable to fly. So we were grateful to get another opportunity to go. And I was supposed to go on the G4 last week, which actually flies above the hurricane, and they dropped the dropsondes in to get readings. Well, I said the P3, they actually fly into the hurricane, and that was quite the experience.
Okay, I'm gonna see some comments too. As comments are coming in from people who are out there. Shauna, thanks for being here. Kathleen Pearson, Carol Hodges, Marguerite, thank you guys for all being here. I'm going to try to get to some of your questions here shortly if you want to continue to ask them. But we are watching Hurricane Dorian as it rolls up the East Coast here. We're talking with Jamie Cook. He's one of our photographers here at News Channel 8 who got to go up in a Hurricane Hunter aircraft last night with one of our meteorologists, Ian Oliver. And it was quite the experience by what you're seeing here. This is all of Jamie's handiwork of what he shot aboard the plane.
That's in the eye of the storm. So like I said, you can see the clouds.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a cool shot.
That's in the eye of the storm as well when the sun was setting. I just couldn't resist. It was absolutely beautiful. I mean, it was just breathtaking. It really was.
What was the most terrifying part for you, or were you pretty calm the whole time?
No, for the most part of the flight, for the first 6 hours, I wasn't afraid at all. But until, when we did the in and out of the eye wall at the end, I became afraid.
Yeah.
It literally, it rattles you to the core. And like I said, you just hold on to whatever you could possibly hold on to, because the plane is just shaking side to side, up and down. And, you're dropping, you have no idea, when that's going to end. And most of that would last, I'd say, a good 5 to 7 minutes as they go through, the eye wall.
Okay.
Once they break through, peaceful flight, they turn around and go right back through it again.
Okay.
The gentleman in the middle there was interesting. He controls the engines. So you have 2 pilots on each side, and the gentleman in the middle. I found that interesting.
That doesn't seem normal.
Yeah, he controls, he regulates, the engines.
Unbelievable. All right, we have some people, Kavita in Trinidad. I live in Trinidad. The place is very hot. Not sure. There's another one. I don't know what she's saying there, but thanks for joining us. Now, Linnell Hibbard says, Jamie Cook, thank you for all you're doing on these hurricanes. So people out there appreciating some of the work. Carol Bennett Hodges, thanks for checking in. Kim Rich, Aiken, South Carolina. Out of the way now since it's already in Myrtle Beach. Yeah, and if you're out there and you're watching this thing, this is what Florida dealt with. This is what we dealt with for the last 10 to 15 days of just sitting here and waiting and watching. Now, the Bahamas obviously got just inundated by this storm. It just sat above them for about 2.5 days, and we waited and waited and waited for it to come to Florida, and thankfully it brushed our East Coast. Here in Tampa, we were A-OK. We didn't see much of anything over here, which we're thankful for. But now we watch and we join you as you prepare for it to come up that East Coast, heading to places like Charleston now and even further. Did we know where it was going to make landfall? Amanda, I don't know if you heard exactly where.
We're thinking actually right around the Outer Banks or just before that. And it's definitely still a possibility that we could see landfall. I'll actually go ahead and just bring up graphics right now. That's the latest cone from the National Hurricane Center, and landfall is still very much a possibility. That eye is very close right now to the coastline, so keep that in mind. Conditions still deteriorating in the Grand Strand. Conditions still deteriorating near Wilmington and up through Jacksonville. You guys have not seen the worst part of the storm just yet. Now, Charleston, Savannah, you guys are going to start to see those conditions improve, which is some good news there. And a lot of people asking, I'm seeing in the comments come in right now about the other storms that are out there, right? We were tracking 2 other storms yesterday, and one of those storms, Tropical Storm Fernan, which was in the western Gulf of Mexico, that has moved ashore in Mexico, no longer a storm, so we're not worried about that one. And then we're also still looking at Tropical Storm Gabrielle, which is way out in the Atlantic. That is not going to impact land. It is going to move north, and the same system that's sweeping Dorian out to sea is going to sweep that one out to sea as well. There's really only one storm that we're currently watching that we will have to keep an eye on as it makes its way across the Atlantic, but nothing in the immediate area that we are going to see impacts from, and not any impacts necessarily in the coming weeks. We just have to track it. It is still hurricane season, the peak of hurricane season as well. So that's kind of an update on the rest of the tropics. We'll have a full update coming on Hurricane Dorian coming up at 2 o'clock, but I did want to bring back up Josh and Jamie. Again, it was really fascinating, Jamie, to hear all of that. I'm just staring at the footage.
Yeah,
I do have a couple questions. Do you know if there was a difference in the right and left pilot? You said the center pilot or center person.
I guess he's a pilot too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Utility guy.
His specialty was dealing with
engine
engines.
controller.
Yeah, that was his
The
specialty.
engineer. How about that?
I guess the
We'll
pilot
go
was
with
on
that.
the left, and I forget his title. I guess it was the commander on the right, basically calling all the shots.
What was Ian doing? Was he calling shots there, or was he just observing?
It was awesome. They let us, go into the cockpit and observe everything. So when we took off, when we came back, landed, we were able to sit up in the cockpit. And I tell you what, landing in the dark, I've never been in a cockpit, coming in the dark, but that was really cool too. I got some great video of that as well.
So Ian is actually on our stream right now. I saw him check in. So Ian, if you have anything to say, if you want to check in and let us know, and let us know you're okay, first of all. I look at your smile there, indicates you were doing just fine last night. Hopefully the hurricane hangover isn't too rough today.